Dietrich Bonhoeffer was an evangelical minister who stood firm against Nazism that began to creep into the Church of Germany soon after Hitler came into power in 1933. As time went on, however, he opposed Nazism on a wider scale and became involved in the resistance movement and in a plot to kill Hitler. During his life, Bonhoeffer preached social responsibility and that it's the duty of every citizen to stand against the evils that they encounter in their world. Bonhoeffer was born along with his twin sister on February 4th, 1906 to Karl and Paula Bonhoeffer, and he began his theological studies at the age of 17 at Tübingen University. In 1927, he concluded his studies at the university and pastored a small congregation in Barcelona, Spain. He then went on to study at a seminary in New York City in 1930. It was at this seminary that he made many lifelong friends with theologians from Switzerland, France, and the United States. And these friendships were important to him later in life because he used these people as contacts to gain support for the resistance movement. After Hitler took control in 1933, most of the Protestant community embraced the ideals of Nazism and even barred non-Aryans from ministering or holding positions or titles in the church. Bonhoeffer strongly opposed this, and he even published papers on the subject and tried to convince the Christians of the evils of the Nazi ideals. In May 1934, he joined what was called the Confessing Church of Germany, which was a branch of Protestant churches that broke away from the official Church of Germany, and they were opposed to all anti-Jewish articles. Of the Aryan paragraph of the Church of Germany, which barred all non-Aryans from being members or ministers, he said, "We especially deplore the fact that the state measures against the Jews in Germany have had such an effect on public opinion that in some circles the Jewish race is considered a race of inferior status." So this quote proves that he viewed Jews as equals, and this belief of his became more and more apparent later on as he published lectures and papers on the subject. He was barred from speaking in public, and due to pressure from the government, he left Germany, and he pastored a German-speaking congregation in London. He came back to Berlin after Kristallnacht, despite being banned from the country. He came back after Kristallnacht, which was when all of the Jews' stores and houses were vandalized by Nazis and just by the community. And what he saw here further influenced his ideas about the evils of Nazism, and it really strengthened his resolve to stand up against Hitler and all of his policies. In October 1940, he began working as an agent of the military intelligence on behalf of the Third Reich, but he was only using this position to work undercover for the resistance. It was during his travels for this job that he met up again with all his friends from seminary and spread news about what was really going on in Germany and gained support for the resistance. In April 1943, he was arrested, and in February 1945, he was sent to the Buchenwald concentration camp. He was later sent to Flossenburg concentration camp, where he was hanged along with others of his co-conspirators for his crimes against the Third Reich. He was hanged only 2 weeks before Hitler committed suicide and the war was over. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a brave man who stood firm against Nazi ideals in a time when all of his peers in the Protestant community embraced them. He was a man that really preached that we need to stand against Nazism. He tried to get rid of that in the church. And some people think that he only did that because he believed that Jews should convert to Christianity and that they should have that opportunity. But as time went on, it became more and more apparent that he viewed Jews not as inferiors that should convert to Christianity, but just as equals in and of themselves. And he ultimately believed that Nazis and Nazi ideals and Hitler and his policies were just an evil that responsible citizens should not bow to, but rather stand up against and oppose. He once said, "If you do a good job for others, you heal yourself in the same time, because a dose of joy is a spiritual cure." Dietrich Bonhoeffer spent a great portion of his life trying to do good for others, and he paid for his beliefs with his life. His legacy of bravery and his example of social activism still resonates with the Jewish community and with the world today. Thank you.